Hi, this is Claire Hettinger doing my assignment 1, experimenting with a camera video editing blog. So what I started with my goal statement was I really wanted to get more comfortable and better at using the camera and understanding all of the parts that it has available to use. So I had a lot of fun with this project. I liked going out and taking a bunch of pictures. I liked all the different types of pictures that I was able to take. Some of those I hadn't really necessarily taken before, like the high angles and the low angles, and I hadn't really thought about shadows before, so that was something new to me, and I really enjoyed that process of getting to try all these different types of taking photos. I learned a lot about light, especially with the morning, noon, and night photos, with looking at them and saying, okay, how does it change over the day? Because I really didn't think that my morning, at like 8 o'clock would look that much different than the noon one, whereas when you look at it in actuality, it looks a lot different. So that was something that I found really interesting. A couple things that I really enjoyed along with that were I really enjoyed getting out and about on campus and looking at things in a different way and thinking, oh, maybe that would make a good picture, or trying to take a picture of something and then saying, well, maybe I should try and take it this way, or maybe I should back up and do a zoom or do a wide angle, or, get really close up in there and do, a big close-up thing. And I ended up taking a lot of pictures of nature and animals, and so that was kind of funny because in my day-to-day life on campus I don't really think about animals too much, but when I was going around with the camera and taking pictures, I saw a lot more of the animals and thought, these would make great pictures. So I really liked the birds by the marrow plot. I thought those pictures were nice, and I took some pictures at home. I was home over Labor Day, and so it was fun to see my yard and what all is in it in a different way. A coyote walked by when I was just sitting on the front porch with my mom, so that ended up making a really fun picture for the telephoto lens. So that was cool to be able to experiment with that while, being able to get a good picture of the coyote, but not having it run away, which it might if you try and get really up close. 3 things that I struggled with. I kind of had a hard time differentiating between soft shadows. I'm like not necessarily between soft and hard shadows, but just like, okay, what really is a soft shadow? Does this make a soft shadow? Does that? And so that was something I had trouble picking when I was going through and trying to pick my final picture. The one I came up with. Another thing I had trouble with was making sure everything was in focus all the time. A lot of times I would try and take a picture of something and it would end up being blurry, or it looked fine out in the field, but then when I get back to the lab I'm like, oh, I thought that was going to be a really good picture, but it ends up being really blurry and then I couldn't use it. So that was disappointing for some of those. And some of the other ones, like when I was taking pictures of the birds flying, some of them, I don't know if like the shutter speed was too slow or something was weird was going on, that I would try and take the picture and then I would take it, but then it wouldn't actually like do the picture for a couple, just however short of a time, but it still felt like since it took so long I wasn't able to get the picture that I thought that I would. And another part is maybe I wanted to take a picture of something, but then I would hit focus and then it wouldn't focus on what I wanted to focus on. It would focus on something else. And so I was trying to experiment with that and trying to think, oh, how should I go about making sure that what I, as the multimedia journalist, want to be the focus of the picture, how do I make sure that that's in focus instead of just the automatic setting that the camera is going to do. And then, so I feel like overall the project went really well. I definitely feel like I've learned a lot more about the camera than I did when I started, and I know some new techniques about, how to get things faster, and I think it was good experience with the shutter speed so that I can, continue to work on that and making sure I can get action pictures and different pictures when I need to get them. I really enjoyed experimenting with different lights and different times of day and thinking, oh, when would this look best to come take this? Or, getting up close with animals and thinking about going outside, like when are animals going to be out and about, when are the bees going to be pollinating, when are the butterflies going to be out in the bushes. So that made me just, think about things differently than, when I'm just writing stories, because when I'm writing stories, it's kind of like if you have to go to a physical location, you can kind of go anytime. But then if you're trying to get a good picture of it, you have to go at a really specific time to make sure that you get the right shot. So that helped me learn a lot too, and I think just overall that I'm excited to keep experimenting with the camera, experimenting with videos, photos, and keeping all this stuff that I've begun to learn, just keeping it going and hopefully getting even better at capturing the best possible picture to help tell a story that I can.